Good evening, folks. How are you doing? So I'm very excited to live stream right now because I've got a lot of things I want to share with you. Powerful things, helpful things to really, I just want to cut through the noise today, um, based on a lot of the things that I've been observing really over a decade, in my personal observations, my professional observations, with the client work that I've done, all the conversations I've had. And I'm just going to talk you through these 6 myths that hold so many people back. And it's there are so many, of course, but there are these particular 6 that I thought I just listed them out. So I just wanted to shine a light on them, and hopefully for you to really see if you're doing any of these, or if you're maybe in any of these beliefs, because sometimes these are the ones that I see just so many times holding people back and really just getting you stuck, because there's a lot of stuckness, right, when we're trying to create, shift, transform, move forward. So I'm just going to talk you through these 6 really powerful things. Hello, Claire. Lovely to have you here. And I'm really excited to share these with you because I feel like sometimes when we're stuck, and you're not getting movement or traction on the thing that you're wanting, a lot of the times it's just because we can't see it. So if you hear it from the outside, maybe one of these 6, maybe some of more than one of these 6 will resonate with you, and you can just shine a light on it and allow yourself to release it if you need to, or focus in a certain way, or tweak your trajectory in some way. So I'm just going to ramble them off, and we'll just see what it brings up for you. And I've definitely, as I look through my list, I made a little list of these 6 myths I want to talk you through. And when I was reflecting on them, I actually saw this, in all different areas, by the way. So this is whether you're creating your business and you want success in that way, if you're making shifts in your body or your health or relationships or money, like you can literally apply these things to any of them, because it's all energetics as well. And there's a lot of stuff that comes up around this. So let's just get into the 6 myths which hold too many people back. So number one myth is, I often see, is anyone that kind of comes out and says, this is the one strategy approach and it's going to be the answer to your prayers. So of course it will depend on the industry, but I'll use an example of manifestations, a really good one. I've seen it a lot where people will share an offering, or they'll share an approach or a strategy, and they'll say, this one thing will, let's say, will help you manifest in 24 hours, or it will help you with this result, and you'll get X figures in 20 seconds or a month or something, right? Or 6 weeks. And sometimes when we're following that, and I've talked a lot about this, following these blueprints and strategies, it's not that there's anything wrong with them, and sometimes they do work for a person. But the myth is that if you're following this one thing and you're putting all your eggs into that basket, you're putting all your hopes onto this one thing, that can really hold you back. And I've had so many clients that have come to me because they followed a strategy and they've poured money into it, they've poured energy and time, our most valuable resource, right? And our energy as well, as much as money. And they've poured it all in, and they've hoped that this thing has been the answer to their prayers. And then they realize, like, no, it isn't. And it was never going to be that piece, right? So what I want you to know is there's never one thing. There's never just one thing that will help you in your stuckness. There's never just one magic bullet. So a really good example of this is when I was really, really ill and I was recovering, from ME, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, and I made a recovery, and I went on to work with a lot of people over the years and help them with their recoveries. What came up over and over and over again on that was there was never just one magic bullet that was going to take someone from ill to vibrant. There was never one magic bullet that's going to take someone from broke to abundant, right? Or bullshit relationships to blissfully in love, right? There's always a build up, and usually it's like lots of smaller aspects and different pieces built together to create this amazing transformation. So if you're pinning your hopes on just one thing, like, I'm not saying that in a way to take you off that track, again, because it might be the one thing that helps you shift. But you know, that one thing has come off the back of many other things, right? So even if you do get quick results in something, it's come off all the other things. You wouldn't have been able to do that had you not done all the build up. So I just want you to release that myth of you're looking for the magic bullet, you're looking for that one magical thing, because if you just take the pressure off and know that everything that you're learning and moving with and growing is all accumulating, and if you trust that and you know that and you believe that, and you just let it grow, let it grow, let it grow, and just be guided to the next thing, right? So just kind of release that myth. It doesn't serve. Let me know if you've done that one or you are doing that one. Okay, so number 2, another interesting one, which comes from some information and knowledge that we have as a collective, that our beliefs matter, our energy matters. Of course it does. So myth number 2 is that you have to 100% believe the thing or it won't happen. So again, a lot of clients come to me and there's a lot of fear around, like, let's say you're wanting to create let's say, you know, you're creating a business, right? A lot of people come to me similar to me. They've got spiritual service-based businesses and they're creatives and heart-led, heart, soul-centered people, and maybe they have a vision that they want to do something, but there's some doubts and they're not fully sure. And I've had so many people say to me that when they're conscious and aware, like many of you are who follow me and follow my messages, when we're so conscious and aware, we start to realize, oh, we've got limiting beliefs. And then we start to realize, oh, we don't 100% believe that we're going to have this beautiful thing that we're trying to create. And then we go into panic and fear and doubt because we say, oh no, I'm not in rock solid belief. Oh my God, now I'm self-sabotaging. I need to get myself believing 100%. And then that in itself takes you off alignment, right? I've done it myself before. I've had so many people come to me, and I want to remind you of this, and I want to share a personal example. You don't have to 100% believe it, because there is room for doubt. And is that really going to happen? I'm not sure. Oh, I hope it does, but I don't know. And it's not that we have to 100% know. I mean, it's really great when we do. Like, I've done things when I'm like, I know. Like, there are things that I just know that they're for me. But there are many things that when I do it, I'm like, like, I knew I was supposed to write my book, but there was still a doubt of, is anyone going to like it? Are people going to read it? Are they even going to finish the book? Like, I had some doubts, right? When I wrote this whole list out around the traits I wanted in a relationship, when I was single, and I wrote down 91 traits that I've told that story before. I'll tell that story maybe another time. But I wrote down all these traits, and I was in love with this guy on paper. I thought, this is the relationship I want. And then I let it go. And then a part of me was like, oh, I probably don't believe I'm going to get that, because that's just too good to be true. And then a year later, I met my now husband, who literally exceeded that list of 91 traits, I swear to God. So I didn't 100% believe it, and then it happened. I believed a lot, though. I didn't 100% believe in my recovery or how I was going to recover, but I believed enough that I would do it. All right. So I just want you to release that myth of, if you don't 100% believe it, you're never going to happen. Like, it's never going to happen, because that sabotages you in itself. What I would say on that one is, really, you want to tip the balance in favor of belief. If you go more into the disbelief, then yeah, that might create some momentum there, and there'll be some deeper things you want to clear and look at. But really, the way I live now is like, if I just tip the balance more into believing than not, that's enough momentum. All right. So just release that myth if it's holding you back, because that's a big one. And I see a lot of people get really aware of that, and then that holds them back. Yeah. So you never, okay. So yeah, never go into self-doubt, because I always work with flow and balance. Okay. That's a great place to be. Never force things. Yeah. Forcing things is like you're going against the flow, right? Which is really, it's hard. It doesn't feel so good. Okay. So that's number 2. Myth number 3. This is a big one that comes up in sessions when I do the deeper work with people so many times over the years. Number 3 is the myth. This is the myth that you have to feel good 24/7 if you want to be on a higher frequency and you want to attract in, right, those good things, and you want to create a different kind of life. And there's this massive pressure that I'm seeing a lot more of recently, where people are we know, right? We know that we're shifting frequencies. The world is shifting frequencies. We understand we're going through this ascension process. We're really moving, and a lot's going on at the moment in the world and astrologically and energetically. So a lot of people, what they're doing, because they don't fully understand how the energies work, and that's okay. It's just how it is. But they're believing that in order to be a high frequency, they have to be happy and fluffy and bouncy and 24/7 kittens, rainbows, and flowers. And actually, that is not true. So when someone comes into a session with me, when these big emotions come up, right? Let's say the heavier emotions that feel maybe not so pleasant. I've had so many people do this where they get in a little bit of fear and they're like, oh, I don't want to feel this, because if I feel this, I'm going to lower my frequency, and then maybe I won't attract the clients or the money or the relationship or the health or whatever it is you're creating. And I want to just clarify this, because I think this one is a manipulation that's been fed into a lot of by new age movements, right? Distortions, manipulations, and it's really messing with people. So I want you just to know this, absolutely know this, that you do not have to feel good 24/7. It is okay if you feel feelings of anger, sadness, frustration, despair, whatever you've got going on. We all have emotions. So if you follow me in my channeling, and you know that I channel the high Arcturian council, the high angelic realm, and when you receive those messages, you can feel the beautiful energies. Me as a channel, I keep my channel as clear as I can. I'm always doing the work on myself, always, but I will still feel things. So a couple of days ago, this week, as I'm live streaming, I had a massive amount of anger that came up over something, and I had to do the inner work to just sit with it. I had to sit with it. I had to breathe with it. I had to feel it. I journaled, I tapped, I vented, I released. I really, really allowed myself. And I did it with no judgment. I know enough now from all the work I've done myself and my training. And like, I've done a lot of trauma work with people over the years. Feeling these real emotions is not going to lower your frequency. In fact, it's the bypassing, the repressing and pushing it under that actually keeps you locked in. So don't worry if you're doing this. This is just shine a light on this so you know and you can see it. So this is all just about shining a light. But this is a big one, because a lot of people, especially conscious, aware souls, who are aware, that you're emitting light and you're here to help shift the frequency of the planet. There's a lot of pressure that goes with that. And I've had many, many, many more in the last year, particularly, go into a lot of fear around, oh my God, I'm feeling anger and I feel low and I'm not even contributing. It's like, no, you're here to feel. You're here to feel. So you can feel all manner of things. It's absolutely okay. But what we're required to do is process them, right? Breathe with them, feel with them, all of that. Okay, so that's really important. You can let that myth go. It's people. If you tune into anyone and they say that they're happy all the time, I would question that. I would question that, because we're not in a frequency right now where any of us are in just living in 5D all the time, because our bodies aren't even fully there yet. There's a whole ascension process. I know I have moments. I have moments of, I feel bliss for no reason. I have moments of really being tapped in, but it most certainly doesn't, I don't live there permanently. I've got very much, I can dabble in that, and it's happening more. So maybe over the years that will grow and expand. I'm sure it will, but I'm very much in the 3D as well. So I just want to share that with you. It is okay. Pressure off, release that myth. You do not have to feel good 24/7 to be in a higher frequency. It's just feelings, emotions, let them move, let them be felt, because a lot of the times we don't feel them, which is what keeps us stuck. That's a big one. Okay, myth number 4 is that you need to clear every single trauma from your life to succeed. So ideally, we would be free of all of it, and we will get to a point where that is true. Right now, we've all got some level of it. I've done so much trauma release work over the years, and there are still aspects that come up. There are different angles, different pieces that come up every now and then. We're all doing it. But sometimes people feel that they're stuck and they can't create and succeed and move forwards in things because they're aware of the trauma, right? Trauma can be big T trauma, which is the big obvious traumatic events that have happened to us. I've had those, many of them, the big ones that really, really have impacted us. We also have a little T trauma, which is perhaps they don't look big on the surface, but to us at the time, we didn't have the resources to deal with them, right? Maybe we were a kid at school, something happened that really shook us up, and it was traumatic at the time. So we didn't know how to process and deal with those things. So we all have some kind of trauma. We've even collectively had trauma from all of the pandemic stuff from 2020. So there's a lot of trauma going on, but the myth is that you cannot have good things in your life, you cannot attract and receive good things in your life whilst you have trauma, unless you clear it all up. But that's a myth. That's I just want you to release that. You don't need to clear up everything. You absolutely do need to look at it, because it is going to impact your ability. Like, it's definitely going to impact your ability to receive and to create and those things, because they will. Trauma has an impact on us, absolutely. But what I'm saying here is release that myth of you have to clear every single piece, because if that was the case, I'd still be back there now. I had to clear a lot of trauma to allow my body to recover. But it wasn't like I had to go through every single piece, because there are other modalities now, right? So I do that with people. I do coded clearing that clears people's energy field. You don't have to be in psychotherapy for 10 years or anything like that. There's lots of ways to do it. So just to take the pressure off, if you're working through this, you just don't worry. You don't have to clear every single thing. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. And then number 5, which kind of tallies off the back of that, is the myth is it's not about then going the other way and not doing any emotional release. So there's a myth that also says you don't have to do any emotional work. You can succeed and you can do things. There is a myth there, because it's people still create good things even though you're full of traumas, like I just said. But if you're completely ignoring that, well, I know for sure from my own life and from the hundreds and hundreds of clients, literally hundreds over the years, I've lost count, of how many people I've worked on deep level work. If you don't do any emotional release whatsoever and you just ignore it, it will hold you back, right? So the idea of you just don't need to worry about any emotional release and stuff, that is a myth, because that in itself will keep you stuck, because it's like you're an iceberg. So imagine an iceberg is most of it's underwater. You can only see a little bit at the top. It's like the top is the conscious mind, and then the rest underwater is the iceberg that's there, and that's the subconscious. So what that looks like is, let's say you want to find love in your life, real deal love, or you want to have soul aligned clients come into your business, right? Let's just say, and you're saying it consciously, you believe you want it, you're saying out loud that you want these things, you're affirming it, and you're doing all manner of things. If underneath you've got emotional things sitting there, beliefs sitting there, reasons why that is not safe for you, for example, things you haven't let go of, things that are attached to the thing that you want, that will hold you back. Okay, so going the other end, saying that you don't need to do any emotional work to succeed is a myth, because actually even those people who have some level of success is very hard to define. It depends on what you feel is success. But some people who have succeeded in certain areas, yes, even if they've done nothing, there will come a point where that comes into play. There will, because you can't sustain that. I had what looked like outside success as a lawyer, and I was doing all the things, and everyone thought I was like really successful and ambitious and everything. And yeah, for a while I was, until the lack of emotional processing anything, because I didn't do a single thing. I didn't know how to. I wasn't even connected to any of that back then. It came eventually into my awareness, and it came in the form for me of a physical manifestation via illness. So it comes in eventually. So we really need to look at this. But back to number 4, we don't have to clear like every single piece. But number 5 is saying it's not that we don't have to do any of it either. I hope that makes sense. I'm just racing through these. I'm trying to keep this concise, but let me know if that makes sense, or let me know if you have any questions on either of those. So that's number 5. And then what did I say? Number 6. Yeah. So the myth number 6, which holds a lot of people back, is this belief that you just need, in order to have that shift, have that breakthrough, create that success, whatever it is that's holding you back, you just need a better strategy, or you just need to work harder, or you just need to do more. That is a complete myth. A little bit of explaining on that one as to why, because that is a big one for a lot of people to release, because that is so embedded into our 3D world, right? I'm glad it makes sense. Thank you, Claire. Good. I'm really glad. Yeah. Because it makes sense in my head, but sometimes, when you say it out loud, you don't know. Okay. So this idea then of when we're stuck, and again, I've done this, I've seen people do this. If we're stuck, we try natural tendency, especially if you're a resilience type, right? Natural tendency is, let's say, I'll use the area of a creative business, because that's just, a lot of people are that way, but use this in whatever area. Let's say, or dating is another good example. Let's say I want to create a business, and I want to sell more tickets to my event, right, in my business, or I want to create, like, I want to meet someone, right? So if it doesn't work, we try our normal strategies and it doesn't work, our mind will naturally tell us, right, do more, try more. So, in the dating scenario, it might be go out more. You're not going out enough. Get out more. Try more bars and pubs and whatever, right? Just go out and be more sociable, right? With your selling your events, your tickets, it's like, okay, show up more, like do more posts, go hard at it, put more hours in, just try and do more. And it's all based on the doing. And what a lot of people I see, they create by doing, non-stop doing. And of course we want to take action, and I'm all about aligned action. So even though I work predominantly with the energy and the alignment pieces with people, and the deeper work, we will always work with the actual practical, like what are you also doing, because we have to take action. But what trips people up is because, and I love this, is because the old 3D energy, which has been here this whole time, has given us this blueprint of put more hours in and you get a better outcome. Work hard, sacrifice yourself, deplete yourself in the name of your kids, your family, your work, your job, to be a good citizen, right? That energy is coming to an end. That frequency is coming to an end. The entire collective planet is shifting into a higher frequency. So this is really important, because what that means is those of us here who are connected to our own growth, development, consciousness, we are also having a lot of shifts. You might have felt this in your body. You might be feeling like you're going a bit crazy at points. This is okay. But we're shifting frequencies. And so, and again, I'm seeing this in anyone I'm working with currently, and I'd say especially over the last year, what is happening is now the old ways aren't working anymore. So I'm seeing this in the coaching, therapy, mentoring space. People that made certain levels of money, or had certain amounts of clients by all the doing and the pushing, are starting to feel now that isn't working for some reason. Why is it not working? Because we are releasing this old myth now that this is the way to do it, and we're being moved now into this new period. And what I'm saying now might sound maybe a bit strange to some people, but this is going to be so normal in the future. But I'm bringing this in, and people like me are bringing this in maybe ahead of the mainstream, right? So we are now entering into this period of being. Who we are being as energetic beings is the most potent, powerful aspect of us. So we're being called to now create in very different frequencies. So because I work with a lot of people who are very conscious, aware, they're very into their own development and growth. They're here on their missions. They want to make an impact. They want to express or expand their own consciousness, all different types of people. There is this thing that's happening, is that they're not getting away, and myself as well, with doing it the old way. So we are being called into creating in higher frequencies. And so we're getting out of this do more, work harder, put the hours in, into energetics, into, it's almost like leaning back and allowing your energy to work, right? It's a very different frequency for a lot of people. So I want to just release you from that myth that it's not about doing more. And a lot of you will have tried this. especially if you're stuck, you typically do try that. I've done that so many times when I'm stuck. I just keep trying more, and then I realize, oh yeah, no, it's not that. I love that you're feeling very relaxed, Claire, going forward, because I'm really, that is the energy, right, that we want more of. So I love that you're just feeling that you're in flow and you're just allowing yourself, because that's what we want to do, right? Getting into a state of relaxed. And again, if you've got a lot of trauma to release, then yeah, that's going to be something that you need to look at. Anything that gets in the way, right, of you in the flow. So I love that you feel that. You're loving just waking every morning and feeling into the day. Yes. And that is a good example of like tapping into this higher frequency. So I love that you said that, because one of the things that was really transformational for me years ago, when I went from very doing, head-based stress, pressure, into exactly as you said, like feeling into the day. And it was this question where instead of asking myself, what do I need to do today? It was, how do I want to feel today? And that was so revolutionary for me about 10 years ago now, yeah, when I started to tap into this, to go from what do I need to do, what, my to-do list, into, well, how do I want to feel today? Maybe I want to feel productive. Great. Maybe I want to feel relaxed. Maybe I need to feel a certain way, right? So I love that. It's so potent. And so it's releasing that myth of old paradigms, which is a big one in itself. I know a whole live stream could be done on just that one, on any of these, but particularly that one. But I just wanted to shine a light on it for you in this live stream today, or whenever you're watching, because that is what we're doing. We're going into higher frequencies now, right? So a lot of things we did before won't work. And that's not to go into fear about it. It's just to understand, we're in a different climate, right? We're in a different place now. So those things, we're in a different developmental stage. So those things don't work, right? It's like the things that you liked in your teens will be different to things that you resonate with in your 30s. So collectively, the things that we resonated with, doing, striving, depleting, pushing, stress, isn't going to resonate now. So there's more and more and more of us that are going into these higher frequencies, new paradigms. I am totally here for that. I hope that you are too. I know you are, Claire. You know your essence. Yeah, you connect every day. I love it. You connect within every day. Yeah, exactly. So thank you for sharing that. Yeah, so that's what we're doing, right? So 6 myths then for you to just have a look at, see which ones you need to drop. They're beliefs as well, aren't they? So number 1 is you have to follow just one strategy, and this will be the answer to your prayers, and putting everything on that one thing and looking for a magic bullet. Release that. Number 2 is you have to 100% believe it for it to happen, or it won't happen. Release that one. Number 3, you have to feel good 24/7, or you can't access the higher frequency. No, release that one. Number 4 is that you need to clear every single trauma from yourself in order to move forwards and succeed. No, release that one. Number 5, other side of that, you don't need to do any emotional release work or inner work, and release that one, because actually some is required. And then number 6 is releasing this idea that you need to work harder and just get a better strategy and work, do more. We're going into higher frequencies. So for some of you, that's going to feel really like normal. All of what I've said is just reminding you. Some of you, that's going to feel like very new. That's okay as well. And I'm sure if some of you feel like I'm just talking nonsense, you would have tuned out by now anyway, so that's okay. All is well. Yeah, you found yourself changing friends. That is a huge one, because we're shifting so much, right? And routines, yeah, going forward. Yeah, no routine going forward. Yes, that is such an indication of you're letting go of like old paradigms, right? Of like linear structured routines. We put them on a pedestal before, and now we're going the other way. We're tapping into something more expansive. And I was the same as a lawyer. I was so routined. I had 5-year plan on a spreadsheet. I just wouldn't do that now, right? But that's where I was. And I had to let go of that structure, because I trusted that structure. And then suddenly I was like, oh, new energies. Yeah, obviously when you have to be at work at a certain time, yeah. It's the same as I have a session with a client, I'm going to look at the clock and follow the clock because we have to do that. But yeah, it's like, it's just letting go of this rigid way of living, right? Yeah, and not needing to know the outcomes. Exactly. Exactly. Can you tap into this energy of not knowing exactly what's going to come and trusting? This is so much about trust. And again, easier for some of us, more difficult if we've had reasons not to trust. I had many, many reasons. I had lots of traumas and things, as I said, reasons not to trust, but it's all we can release, and we can figure this out as we go. So I just wanted to shine a light on those 6 things, because better to have them out into the consciousness, and then you can just release them. All right, so just a quick note then, ways I can help you. I have many different ways, as you will know if you've heard me speak before, but the ones that are coming up for me around this one, I'm just going to just select from what I have that makes sense. So one of the things, yeah, is my membership. So my monthly membership is the place I hang out more. I've got a lovely membership group in there, and we do every week. This is all for visionaries, creatives, heart-centered people, souls who are here to expand consciousness. You're here for the new energies, and every week in there we do different things to help connect you in. Me and my guides, we help connect you into the energy shifts, stuff around money and receiving, stuff around business, action, alignment, mission. What else we do in there? We do channeled messages. There's so much action going on in there. So if you want to join something that's just going to give you a place that you can be supported and guided every week, dip in, dip out as you want. You can stay as long as a little as you like. You can check that out. That's a good option. So this is the Awake Revolution membership. I'll put links in the description afterwards. And then the other way, if you're really needing that deep dive, like all in. So I've got an all in 5-month package where we literally roll our sleeves up and get right into unearthing the root of whatever is keeping you stuck and helping you shift, expand like never before, irreversible transformation. So that's the all in 5-month package. That's if you really want to go deep into that. And then completely different to that, I've got the Coded Clearing Library, is a self-guided resource, and it's basically a library with lots of different energy activations and all sorts of channeled things in there. It's just one purchase, so you access everything in there anytime I add anything. So that's a really good way if you just want to start connecting into these higher frequencies, actually, because that will just help kind of get you into that. It's beautiful because it's all channeled as well. And sometimes when I feel a bit weird, I go in there and even though it's me speaking, I go in there and I listen back because they're channeled energies and frequencies. So I receive in that way. So that's definitely, so just different things depending on what you're looking for, but I'll put links to everything wherever you're watching, and you can check that out. And again, if there's any questions or anything you're not sure about, message me. My inbox is here, wherever we're connected. So you can send me a message wherever we are connected. And yeah, don't be afraid. I'm not going to pounce on you and sell you things. You can ask me for guidance, as in which way I would recommend you go on anything that I have to offer. If you're not sure, feel free to message me. There's never any pressure when you come into my inbox. I won't hound you. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Yes, the fact you're getting older, you're chilling with age. Yeah, definitely all the work you've put in. Yeah, and you love the energies. Absolutely. And you get to enjoy them. You get to enjoy that if you have put that work in, right? And if you have, and you're already feeling like you're in a good place, just know that you're walking the path ahead of a lot of people. And, we need people to anchor in these frequencies. And so wherever you are on this, whether you are feeling really lovely right now in a higher frequency, or if you're just going through like absolute crazy energetic shifts, if you're exhausted or you've got rage coming up, or you've got like whatever you are, know that it is okay. It is just a process, because there's a lot happening right now. As I'm recording this, we've got a massive lunar eclipse happening tomorrow, 5th of May 2023. I'm not an astrology expert, but I've been tuning into some messages and guidance, and it's like, I know it's just very big. It's a very big, intense, and it's going to bring up a lot of stuff, right? And there's always layers. So just know that wherever you are is absolutely fine. You're not messing up. You're not screwing up. There's nothing wrong with you. You do not need to be fixed. But absolutely an invitation for you to do the inner work. I continuously do the inner work all the time, because I just feel like it's my duty with the work that I do, but also it's my own growth. And I feel like we're never we're never there, we're never done. So we just get to continuously expand because there's always more, there's always better. Wherever we are, there's always more. So even if you're in a great place, there's always more. So quick note on that, if you are in for an expansion, if it's more you want to just expand, I have an expansion package. I just remembered that would be a good one to kind of share right now. So it's a life/business expansion package, and that's more if you are, it's not so much the healing, release, deep stuff you're in need of. You're ready to move, you're ready to shift quickly, and you're really up for a next level expansion. That is like a really great thing to work on. So I'll put links to everything around wherever you're watching this, and you can check those out for yourself. All right. Yeah, take the rough with the smooth. Exactly. You can't have light without the dark. Exactly right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you clear yourself as well. Yep. Clear a day. Oh, yeah. You clear every day. Yeah. Yeah. And several times. Yeah. Because we've got to keep ourselves just like moving, right? We are so expansive and we're very sensitive creatures as well. So I send you love. I thank you for being here in this crazy, during this crazy time on this crazy planet. We chose to come down here for this exact shifting. So here we all are. So if sometimes you just need to take a break, take a break. All right. Sometimes I just do that. I just step away from all things and just fill myself back up. So yeah, really just make sure you're taking really, really good care of yourself right now. That's the first thing above everything. All right. So I hope you found some of that useful and maybe shone a light on any of those that you can just release or refocus in some way. And I'm here for any guidance or assistance. And you can check out all those ways to work with me in the links. All right. So I send you lots of love. Thank you for tuning in with me live here. And thank you if you're watching the replay. And yeah, feel free to comment even on the replay because I always check back in. And hopefully I catch most of the comments. All right. So lots of love. And yeah, I will speak to you very soon. Okay. Take care.